Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, Ugandan or not. Welcome to B.U.B.U FAB. It is 2021 and I can tell you that, you know what, despite what 2020 brought us, I'm actually feeling super excited and positive about this year because let's face it, what could possibly be worse than a pandemic type of year? But however, they tell us that we shouldn't ask questions we don't want to find out answers to. Now today on the show, I am very pleased and happy to bring you another exciting product out of Uganda. You know how we do it, we bring you the best things out of this country and we get to showcase things that you may not have heard of or known of before. Now, the reason why I'm super happy today is because this time I'm going to be doing an interview. Yes, our very first interview on B.U.B.U FAB, and I'm going to be talking to someone who does amazing things. And now he goes by the government name Conrad Goodman. Maybe I shouldn't share the last name because that's a bit too much information. If he has issues with the law, they might just look for him. But he is an architect by profession, also a lecturer at Uganda Matters University in Kozi. But in his free time, he does amazing things. Now, you're probably wondering why my set looks zhuzhed up today. Guess what? This is actually his work. And these locations all happen to be in Uganda. We're going to be giving him a chance to come tell us about his work, come tell us what he is inspired by, and basically just, you know, share our Ugandan experience. So put your hands together in your head, or like actually loudly as you watch this video, for my guest, my very first guest on B.U.B.U FAB. Keep it locked, do not go anywhere. Like, this is the channel you need to be staying at. Now, as promised, I told you guys that I was bringing you a special guest in the building. Okay, not in the building, on the couch. Our B.U.B.U FAB couch receives you for the first time in our history. You are our very first interviewee. How did you feel? Let's even have
I never expected it.
In case you guys don't know, Conrad, which is the name some people know him by, but many of you might actually know him by Chapat, is a comedian in his free time. If you've checked out Dry Jokes Wednesday, then you've probably seen several of his jokes, especially
Please don't
Twitter.
announce these things because there's some people want to beat me.
They think you're serious.
Some people want to beat me, they don't know what I look like. For you, they are saying I'm the Dry Jokes guy. I'm not the guy.
This is the guy.
This is not my real face. So.
But that's the thing, he is super talented and also super smart. He happens to be an architect by profession, like I mentioned. He also lectures at Uganda Matters University in Kozi. He is a photographer, and like I said, these are actually his images, different locations in Uganda. He's gonna tell us more about that. And a very good dancer. Guys, he's one of the best male dancers that I know in Uganda. He just didn't sign up for like obsessions. What happened?
I was too young.
You were too young, but now
I'm still too young, though.
That grey hair that I'm seeing, Conrad. You're growing old. But welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm very privileged to be the first interviewee.
Yes.
Viewer.
Interviewee.
Yes.
I am the interviewer.
Please tell me. I've read.
If you want, it's okay. We can speak in any other language you're comfortable with.
Yes, you see, the Batwa say.
Oh my God! Here we go. What did the Batwa say?
If a rabbit loses its fur, it uses banana peels to grow back.
What?
It's not related. It's not related. I'm just throwing it there for good measure.
Okay, you know what? I need someone, like one of the Batwa, to get into my comment section and tell me if anything he said
No, they are not Batwa on social media, don't worry.
What?
They will never know about this.
Wow, Conrad. So, I'm really interested in your work and I've been following it for some time, and actually he's taken really good photos of me and several other people that you may have seen on social media, you know, very high profile people. And I know that in the beginning it just started as like, you know, regular photographs of your friends and family and things like that. How did we get from, you know, a cute photo on Instagram to this amazing work?
Well, it's a very long story, I have to say. And I didn't get here in one day. Like everything was. I had some vague plan. I didn't know what it was. I just knew I have to take photographs. That's all.
Is that a passion of yours?
Yeah, it's
For how
something
long?
that
how
I've been
long?
doing for about 11 years now.
Wow, 11 years. When did you
Yeah.
first get a camera? At what age?
I first held my first like real camera when I was about 15.
What do you remember that type?
It was a very old Pentax 70s.
The ones that you put in like a film.
Yes, the one that you put in a film, but you have to like get that black cloth around you so it then interrupt the light.
What?
Yet again, yes.
Are you serious? So
And,
it was like a whole gadget.
Yes, it was a whole gadget. And I was just lucky that I met people who were in the creative field very early in my life. And you know, there are those things that you have to do. I have to go to school, I have to do this, but there are those things that speak to you at an early age and they grow into you. And I was just lucky that I met creatives very early and I started to aspire certain things that I wanted to do. So when I said, when I held my first camera, it was such an amazing story. I met this lady who was doing her master's in photography. And she had a very old 1970s camera that, they had to...
Here in Uganda?
Yes, here in Uganda. She was doing her thesis here somewhere on the shores of Lake Victoria. And she was taking portraits of people, but she could never see them. Because it's a very old camera, it is very old technology.
Yeah.
There's only one place in the world that develops that kind of film.
Wow.
So she would go out for the whole year, she's just taking photographs. But today you can take a photograph and you see it. And you know what, but
then you're taking
she was just taking and she could not see it until she goes back to Japan to
so how do
process the thing, and then
with such a gadget, how do you even know you're taking good photos?
That's the thing. It's like when you see that process, you just fall in love with it. It takes away from holding your phone and just snapping, and you don't necessarily appreciate the whole fact that you have to compose, you have to look at the light, you have to. There's so many things that hit you in the mind at the same time that you have to be really spontaneous about it. But the fact that that lady couldn't see her photographs for a whole year, and she's taking photographs throughout the year, it like really got me
intrigued and passionate.
Yes,
about
I started to see appreciate the fact, the art of taking photographs, and that's for me after that it was
okay.
history.
So fast forward to taking photographs of us, your friends.
Well, that was the process. It was part of the process because I'm inspired by light, so it was not about that I want to take a photograph or something, because I always move with my camera. But when I see a very nice light setup, I run into the car and I get the camera and get some people to pose a bit and take nice photographs. And every time I be somewhere and I see very nice light, I pick out a camera because I don't use a flash. I like to use like natural settings, and I don't. So it was a lot about. It was the process of getting to this, because all these pictures you see here I didn't take in 2 days, or I took me a space of like 6-7 years to take all these photographs. Some of these are some of my oldest pictures.
Right.
But I couldn't get you to see these before I've taken those first. So it's part of the process. So like I started taking pictures of people. People knew me a lot for that camera guy.
Yeah.
Chapat, and change my DP.
Let me just understand. First of all, the name Chapat, which seems to be your logo signature on every painting. Can you just give us a quick background about that name? How does someone come from Conrad, to Chapat? Because for us, Chapat at our home is for eating. So I don't know.
Yeah, I get
in
that
Uganda, like every Ugandan knows, or if you're from East Africa, chapat is edible. So you are Chapat the individual. How does that?
Yeah, I get that a lot. everywhere I go, guys are Chapati, Chapat. So I mean, it's kind of a catchy name anyway, but I didn't choose the name. It chose me.
I don't know. Do we have the time to get into that story? Because I'm actually like, curious. It chose you?
Yeah, it chose me. It chose me. It's a very long story, but I'm going to cut it short. So I was in this village in Masaka. It's called B.U.B.U. So we had this thing we used to do where like we would go into the village and buy a goat and then like roast it.
Who's we?
Like me and my friends back when we were on campus when I was still doing my masters.
Okay.
So we had this thing we'd do like, because goats were very cheap in the village, so you'd go and buy a goat of like 50k and you know, have a good time.
Well, you know, goats these days get grants from presidents, so I don't know about cheap goats anymore.
I don't know. So I go to the village and you know, I play music with my iPad. So I'm there on my iPad, you know, doing this thing. So there's tendency for villagers to collect where they are. So there's one small kiddo who just amused all of us. So he's walking around with this jerrycan, you know. I think he had come to fetch water from somewhere, and then he sees, and then he's like, oh, you want a kind of Chapat?
Oh my god!
So because he saw me doing this on the iPad, and music was coming out. The guy's like, oh, you want a kind of Chapat?
Oh, by the way, in case I forgot to mention, like he is one of those multi-talented individuals who can do almost everything in the creative arts. He also DJs, so you know.
Anyway.
Applause, everybody! Applause.
No need to applause. So the name just stuck. So it was just like, so we'd just be there and like music is playing and you're like, Chapat, because of that. So the name just stuck.
So now here we are with Chapat.
Yes. So now my studio is called Studio Chapat. So I took the name Chapat and I just integrated the art bit, so you know it kind of makes sense away from the Chapati, but it's pronounced the same way, but it's the same thing anyway.
So tell us about these photos and the different locations. For those who may not know or haven't, you know, really traveled around Uganda. I mean, earlier you were asking me if I've been to Kisoro or if I've been to Kabale, and unfortunately, I am yet to go. COVID kind of like ruined my whole traveling plans. But
yeah,
I am most curious about this location right here. Where is this?
Well, this is Kazinga Channel.
Okay.
Do you know Kazinga Channel?
Yes, I have been to
Geography.
Mwea.
Yes, then
and then you do like that couple trek through Kazinga Channel, right?
Yeah. It's a very nice place. I come from here, very, very close.
Here is where?
Here is Bunyarguru.
Okay. West side? Alright.
It's a very amazing place. The story of this photograph is very interesting, by the way. So I woke up this morning and I had lions on my mind. Like
lions?
Yes, like I want to go photograph lions in the wild.
Okay.
So
I'm just going to pretend like that's a normal thing that people go through.
No, it's a thing for me. I like lions. So I get up 6 a.m. in the morning, driving and then stop somewhere, you know, burn some cassava, chai, continue, because you know the park there open until 7. So I get to Kazinga Channel and I realize I'm late because I was going all the way to some place called Kasenyi. And then I start rushing, and then the sun is coming up and I'm crossing. I'm like, this point here, I was crossing the bridge at Katunguru.
Were you driving?
I was driving. I was driving. So there is this thing they do in the park. They don't allow fishing at night.
Yeah.
So fishing starts at 7 to 7. So there's no boats after 7. So in the morning, fishermen have to literally race to book spots to put their nets. You get? So that's what was happening in this photograph. So when I get to the bridge, the sun is coming up on this side, and I'm seeing like guys rowing boats like running, like it was a race. And I freaked out. I'm like, I have to take this shot, but I couldn't stop on the bridge, and there were soldiers that, you know, they don't allow
Taking
photographs and what.
Yeah. So how did you?
I didn't care. I just listen. I packed and jumped out of the car. Like, there are those moments when, like, as a photographer, there are those moments
The
you
rush
can never,
that
like,
takes over.
that adrenaline just grabs you and, like, I have to take this photograph. So I park the car, I pick my camera, pick my tripod, and I leave the car open, like, and I run out.
Okay.
So I get to the bridge. I'm trying to set up the camera, and then there are, like, power lines. I don't know if you can see those lines there. Power lines like right in front of me. So I realized I can't get the shot I need. So I had to climb the bridge. So that bridge, if you've been to Katunguru, there are, like, kids who you pay like $1,000. They jump in the water, like they die for you or something. So it's like people climb this thing anyway. So I strap on.
What?
I climb the thing and get up there. I was like in the
Hanging
moment.
in the air? Or on the bridge?
On the bridge.
Wow. Okay.
So the point where I wanted to get the sun on was just like off the horizon. But I felt good because I was, like, literally climbing. So my first photographs were all shaky. But when I settled a bit, I took the photograph. But when I got down, I found two guys in a uniform waiting for me.
Wow.
Oh man.
Only in
So here's what I did. So, like, I had to delete my photographs. So what I did is, because they were the first photographs on the card, I put in my viewfinder and I switched straight to the first pictures I took. I just skipped and went to the first pictures I took. So I started deleting. I was like, I've deleted.
Meanwhile, they've all gone.
But then those were the shaky ones that I knew that were terrible.
Yeah.
And I was praying that I kept like 3 or 4 somewhere in there that I was hoping that let me hold, like, somewhere
later on.
Yeah. But when I finally got back and I found that I had got, it was. But trust me, it was quite an experience.
I mean, I guess they say a picture can say 1,000 words, but they don't tell you about the background story of some of these pictures, isn't it?
Yeah, even this in particular, this is in B.U.B.U.
Where are we here? This looks like Wakanda. I've been told that this is where this movie was shot, but no one wants to admit.
Yeah. This is in B.U.B.U,
right.
Kavali.
Okay.
And I think there's a very big, disparity between the places you see as a tourist and the places you see as a local.
Yeah.
So whenever I travel to a place, you can anyone can make bookings, anyone can, look for the nicest hotels and stuff, but the best experiences are the ones you get when you're in the community. So when you go to B.U.B.U, I think if you go to B.U.B.U and there are typical places that everyone goes to. But I always look for the little kids. There are those little kids, you just give him 2K.
And they take it
and tell him, like, where's the best place to see this stuff.
Yeah. He
will take you somewhere you don't even, like, we hike through forests and stuff.
Yeah.
This is the same.
Where are you to get this view?
This is now, if you know Acadia Lodges, they're just like 5 kilometers from here. This is one of the taller highlands in the region.
Okay.
So usually I look for, if you get on Google Maps, you can find, like, what spots have the highest elevations, and you look for, like,
of course, only an architect would be interested in the highest elevations.
No, but when you find, the locals know the places. They know the spots that you can pass, and it's way easier. You get way better. Like, when I reached B.U.B.U for this very same trip, I was all over these islands on the boats and everything and I actually climbed some places, but to get the spot where you can see so many islands, there are not so many. Okay. And you have to actually move in a bit. You don't have to, like, there are no roads or anything, so you park somewhere and hike for a bit. But here, this is also very, like, I was trying to, B.U.B.U is one of those places hard to get a sunset because of the elevation, the altitude. Yeah. So it's usually cloudy almost 75% of the year.
Yeah.
So part of my work is to time when I think I will get the perfect shot.
Yeah.
And I look for those seasons. But then even when you go there, you have to spend some good time there because you won't tell that day. Now I was here for about a week, but I didn't get. This was as close to a sunset as I could get.
Wow.
So it's try and error and stuff, but very, very lovely place.
There's one more in the back here, which is probably going to be the last one that we get into. And for me, I have a personal interest in this one because it brings back so many memories.
Yeah.
What was happening in this photo? Let us know. Where are we?
No, this.
Here.
What was happening in this photo was party. Party.
The good old days.
Yeah, the good old days of outside.
I'm telling you. So
Yes.
this is Ginger, right?
This is Ginger, yes. Nile Discovery Beach.
Okay.
I remember the date very well. It was 7 September 2018.
Okay.
I was at Nyege, party.
Yeah,
So,
I know this
yeah.
spot very, very vividly.
So I was.
How does someone come from Nyege and party to taking this still calm shot?
Yeah, this. You can see it was during the day, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to understand.
Yeah. Anyway, this shot here in particular is. I have a couple of others I do in this same style. These are long exposures.
Okay.
So what happens is that I leave the camera in one position. I open it up for about. This took me about 35 minutes
Okay.
to shoot. So it's just open for 35 minutes, and so what happens is anything that moves is blurred out. That's why the water is so calm and so still. It's always moving, and everything that's fixed is the trees, and that you can see some of the. So it's a style of shooting that shows motion. So like if you have similar shots of like waterfalls, you can see like the silky water. You don't see the rough, like they're silky. Yes, it's long exposure. It gives it a bit more calming effect to the eye, as opposed to if you see the rapids and the like kind of thing. So it's a style of shooting that I like a lot because the process is what's the word? It's very fulfilling. So when you're taking, you actually feel the art of
you're happy that something has come
yes,
out
it's a lot of work because imagine sitting there for 35 minutes and you don't see, and then something goes wrong or something goes off or something shakes or something.
It's conversations with people like you that makes me realize why God didn't give me certain skills, because I definitely would not
it's
have
a lot of patience. It's a lot of patience, but you have to be willing to try out a lot of stuff. Now here I actually had to enter the water a bit because you can't. There are some dangerous things you have to do, but
clearly, I mean, here we are on a bridge. Here we are on a high elevation, and here we are literally jumping into the water. In conclusion, Cynthia can never do this. But I just have like one more question, and it basically relates to how you're finding your experience, because obviously being a professional and a creative at the same time, I'm sure you can see that there's a difference in how people relate to you in the different fields. So tell us what your experience has been as a creative in the Ugandan sphere. Like, when people see this, do they appreciate the work that goes into it? Are they happy to buy, these pieces? What challenges on your end are you facing to produce such amazing work?
It's a very broad question, I could answer it in 2 days.
We have just 2 minutes.
Yeah, but creativity is something that never stops. That's something you have to appreciate. I always tell my students, you don't stop designing, you don't stop thinking creatively. You can't just switch it off. And if you find yourself thinking a lot about, design and stuff, you're in a much better position because you're always evolving your work. But it's in Uganda itself, creative fields are there. They are really active today than they were, decades ago. And I'm just, in a position where I travel a lot. I do a lot of art and paintings and photographs mostly. but it's a market that is starting to come up a lot. Yes, it's a green field, I would call. There are many artists out there, but I think what makes us fail as creatives is trying to be everyone else and not necessarily being unique. Yes. Yeah. And everyone, can say I'm doing the paintings, I'm doing the. So I like this particular kind of work because it's something fresh to the creative field. It's a different take on photography. Yeah. And slowly by slowly, I mean, I started this, like I said, a long time ago. Yeah, 11 years. It's been 11 years now, but I mean, I couldn't have reached here if I gave up anywhere. But it's just one of those things you just keep doing, but some way people will start to come in. Today we are lucky we have a lot of social media,
So you can promote.
Yes, all my work is everywhere on Instagram. That's where I get people to see my stuff. I couldn't have done this 5 years ago. Yeah. Because I mean, not everyone has the space to no one has the data, no one has the space. Yeah. But today things are way easier. A lot of artists are getting their stuff out there. There are so many. If you get on Twitter today, like you can't scroll more than 20 posts without seeing someone saying I drew this, I did this, and it's a good thing now because people now start to appreciate art. But for me in particular, people start to appreciate photography, because now, like for example, a shot like this, these are about 128 photographs in one. Yeah. Because I can't take this shot in one single shutter. Yeah. So it's called bracketing. So I take this section. 7 photos. So it takes me about 2 hours to take one shot. Oh, wow. You get? So these are 7 photographs, 7 different exposures, 7 photographs, and then I piece all these up to make this shot. Wow. That's why it's that big. So the process, when you start to explain people the process, they now start to appreciate that this is not somebody sitting down with the camera and just snapping away. It's like a whole art. There's a whole level of appreciation to I want to compose this. How do I do it? It's mostly thinking on the go, and a lot of these moments go. They just wow. I think this is absolutely amazing, and it's definitely unique, and I really like that you definitely go ahead to showcase the different parts of our country, which are insanely beautiful, as you can see. For those of you who have never traveled, you need to get yourself an art piece or painting or something from Chapat. He does amazing houses, but he also does things that you should put in your house, and I think this is amazing. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much, Chapat, for hanging out with us. a.k.a. Conrad, a.k.a. Mr. Dry Jokes. Definitely killed us in the jokes today, but we have to sign out, and I just want to say, make sure you subscribe, send in your comments, tell us how you feel about what you saw today, and let's hang out next week on B.U.B.U FAB.